Prior to the coronavirus, the amount of immigrants, refugees and displaced people around the world was probably one of the most discussed issues of our time. Lots of games have tackled this issue head-on before, Papers, Please being an obvious one. But none have quite captured the feelings of helplessness in the face of disaster the way Mass Effect 3 did. The finale to the Mass Effect trilogy gained heavy criticism at the time, especially for its ending. But most of the game is filled with resolution, sharp characterization, personal moments, and a strong theme of reactive chaos.
Don't argue with me, Liara.
You're not leaving me behind.
No matter what happens. Everything to me, Liara.
Shepard, I am you.
It strips you of whatever being Commander Shepard means and makes you simply Shepard. A person who can't save everyone, no matter how hard they try. Kai Lang was an ineffective villain. Thane, Jacob and Tali Mansers were left out in the cold, and Diane Alice had no business being there.
Be careful, Commander. You keep feeding me like this and I'll follow you home.
Mass Effect 3 is far from perfect, but its weaknesses have been disproportionately highlighted. The problem is that Mass Effect's failures were eye-catching and gaudy even if they lacked substance. Part of that substance is the Citadel, where you spend a good chunk of your downtime throughout the game. In the previous two installments, the Citadel had been the apex of life in the galaxy. It was a highly polished, soulless but mighty pinnacle of corporate achievement and effective legislation. In the third game, it's cast in the shadows, drenched in the red and black, and serves to typify the weakness and lack of preparation in the fight against the Reapers.
Ship out of the docking bay.
Wait, please. My family's on board. Just let them land. I'll pay.
This isn't about money. The wards are already at capacity for refugees. There's just no room.
You let Asari in here earlier.
That's back when we had space.
Where previously ambassadors had strolled their boardwalks in their suits, refugees now cowered in fear. You can hear their hushed whispers, their desperate cries every time you venture down to the holding area. Shepard is a hero. Surely it's just a matter of shooting a bad guy, finding a MacGuffin or selecting the correct dialogue option to save them. Except it's not. Not this time. There is no way to save these people. Like many refugees, things are too far gone, and there is nothing we can do to help them. How do we restore order to a war-ravaged world? How do we reunite families ripped apart by conflict? How do we bring children back to life? There are definitely better games, and with a wider lens, much better pieces of media in general, which highlight the plight of the refugee. But these parts of Mass Effect 3 aren't about the refugees, not really. They're about the bystanders. The people who would do anything to help if only they could. The people who would ignore the problem, out of sight and out of mind, until it was screeching in their face and force them to confront the problems they had allowed to fester for other people. It's not Shepard's fault the Reapers are invading, but could they have used their influence within the Citadel to lobby for change instead of throwing pithy burns the Council's way?
What more will it take?
Who knows? Hell, maybe the Council's just taking petty revenge for Shepard hanging up on them all those years ago.
Wait, Shepard did what?
Could they have solved problems with words more often than they did with bullets?
As this is a high-security vessel, you need to relinquish your weapons before we proceed.
I'll relinquish one bullet. Where do you want it?
Their greater good victories plunged cities, planets and systems into chaos, and now the Citadel is stuffed with the human, and Asari and Turian, face of collateral damage. Mass Effect 3 highlights the pain of refugees through the eyes most personal to the player, the eyes of the bystander. Putting us in the shoes of the refugees themselves forges a connection between us and their suffering, but also makes it too easy for us to wash our hands of the responsibility. It passes the blame onto dictators, onto famine, onto military invasion. As Shepard, we see this suffering face to face, and despite being the hero, we can't save them. Because it's not enough to simply want to save the day. We have to build a better world so the day won't need saving.